He didn't lose the war. He destroyed it, not because his enemies were stronger, but because his mind was weaker. This is not propaganda. This is not opinion. This is history. Adolf Hitler had power. He had weapons. He had armies that seemed unstoppable, rolling across Europe with terrifying speed. He held the fate of millions in his hands. But here's the paradox. The man who demanded absolute obedience from an entire nation hated discipline for himself. He wanted absolute control. Control over his generals. Control over military strategies. Control over reality itself. He saw himself as a visionary, a genius who didn't need to follow the rules of warfare that had been established for centuries. And that misguided self-belief was the beginning of the collapse. The first crack in the foundation of the Third Reich wasn't a bomb or a bullet. It was an idea in one man's mind. Let's dig into the psychology of this failure. Hitler was not a professional military commander. His experience in World War I was as a corporal, not a general. Yet, surrounded by some of the most experienced and brilliant military minds of his time, he consistently ignored them. He rejected expert advice. Why? Because his ego was louder than logic. In the halls where strategy should have been debated, he shouted orders instead of listening to counsel. He believed personal loyalty to him mattered more than tactical competence on the battlefield. Think about that. He'd rather have a loyal amateur leading an army than a brilliant, but questioning, professional. One man's arrogance, his refusal to be challenged, cost hundreds of thousands of lives. This led to decisions that didn't just lose battles, they annihilated entire armies. The word retreat was forbidden. It was a sign of weakness, an insult to his will. So, even when survival depended on a strategic withdrawal, soldiers were ordered to stand still. They were commanded to hold their ground while reality moved against them. Maps were changing daily as enemy forces advanced. The brutal Russian winter arrived, a foe more relentless than any army. Supply lines collapsed, leaving men to starve and freeze. And through it all, pride refused to move. The Fuhrer in his bunker, miles away from the frostbite and the fear, demanded the impossible. This wasn't bravery. This was madness, enforced by a tyrant. Now, let's look at the other side. What were the Allies doing? They had discipline. They had a structured command where experts were heard. They practiced strategic patience, waiting for the right moment to strike. They had leaders who adapted to the changing battlefield, who learned from their mistakes and adjusted their plans. They didn't always agree, but their system was built on logic and reality, not the whims of a single, delusional man. One side followed the hard truths of reality. The other tried to bend reality to its will. History shows us which approach wins. So, Hitler was not defeated overnight by a single, crushing blow. The end was a slow, agonizing process. He was defeated decision by decision. Mistake after mistake. Each foolish order, each rejected piece of advice, was another nail in the coffin. He sacrificed his best armies at Stalingrad. He wasted precious resources on illogical offensives, all while the world arrayed against him grew stronger and smarter. The downfall was a cascade of failure, originating from the very top, until nothing remained of his 1,000-year Reich except ruins and ashes. Ultimately, the lesson is clear. Power without discipline becomes destruction. It consumes itself from the inside out, and history, the ultimate judge, never forgives. This is not a war lesson. This is a human lesson.